Broadcasting from down on the bayou, it's the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast, powered by Lake Area Media, LLC. And now your hosts, David Boston and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to episode 119 of the AMP Wrestling Podcast. I'm David Boston. He is Patrick Fry. And boy, the circumstances today that we're having this podcast under, Patrick, it is crazy.
Yeah, where you are right now, it's a little crazy, a little hectic at our, I guess you can call it our home base of where we work. A lot of things going on right now. But you know what, David, I'm choosing to ignore it. So I'm choosing to not stress over it because I need to learn to not stress about things anymore, or at least try to control the stress, because the stress is leading to other things. But that's neither here nor there.
Maybe we can work in a Patrick Goes Mental segment here. Do a little mental health for you.
Nope. That see, that's, you know, right now we want blood pressure numbers to decrease, not increase. So we're just gonna remain calm, and we're gonna talk about wrestling, because guess what? We had a really good pay-per-view with AEW on Saturday that we're gonna talk about here. We also got a big pay-per-view with WWE coming up. Are they doing it on Saturday? No, I think they're doing it on Sunday. Whenever their schedule came out last year and they had a bunch of Saturday pay-per-views, I think it made me think, okay, maybe they're doing Saturday pay-per-views already. And then, of course, they did SummerSlam on a Saturday, so I was trying to remember if Survivor Series this weekend was on Saturday or Sunday. But I believe it's on Sunday here. Actually, I can confirm here really quick. I do have the date up. It is November 21st, which is Sunday. So, yes, Survivor Series this Sunday. I'll go over the entire rundown here in just a moment, David, but I think you have a sponsor you want to go ahead and get in?
Yeah, but before we get into that, let me get this out the way, Patrick. I was telling you a little bit about this before the podcast. I'm on this Saints group on Facebook, and if you're a Saints fan out there, you know exactly who Paulson Adebo is. Yeah. He sucks! The dude sucks. Every time a team's looking for a big play, they go to this guy because they know he sucks. And we got to keep playing him because we don't have any more cornerbacks. But I was on this group, and apparently Sean Payton said some players may get cut that have consistently sucked on the team. I'm paraphrasing there. Yeah. And I said on the group, let's cut Paulson Adebo. That dude's garbage. And as the good brothers would say, all these nerds came out and started riding Paulson Adebo's jock. And I'm like, bro, not this many people can like this dude. He gets burnt every single time. He's the reason why we've lost games.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know who Paulson Adebo was until his name was brought up after the game. But yeah, apparently Paulson Adebo's got a fan group out there, and I guess they're not fans of David Boston right now.
Guy's straight garbage. All right. Yeah, the sponsor of today's show is our Amazon affiliate link. Of course, with the holidays coming up, this is a really good idea how to help your boys out. All you got to do is put in this web address, tinyurl.com/Amazon amp. That will forward you to our Amazon affiliate link. And what goes on there, when you buy something in Amazon, there's no extra cost to you. They just say, hey, thanks for sending us this traffic. Here's a little commission. So it doesn't make your cart any more expensive than it would have been before. They just kick a little bit back to us, and it's a really good time to help you boys out here during the holidays because everybody is shopping for Christmas presents on Amazon. So tinyurl.com/Amazon amp, AMP.
Yeah, even though Mr. Bezos skimps a little bit on that commission, every little bit helps. You boys.
Yeah, man. A lot of things on there used to be 8%. He knocked them back to 4%. But like Patrick says, if enough people do it in the AMP Nation, every little bit helps.
Yeah, so that means you, Marcus, because you're the only one in here as far as I know. So, and maybe anyone else who comes back and listens on a playback, if you will. So if you're not listening to us live. But, yeah, David, we got a big show today. We're going from really one big pay-per-view last weekend to another big pay-per-view this coming weekend. So if you're a wrestling fan, you get 2 straight weekends of some pretty good shows. Well, first we'll talk about AEW Full Gear that took place this past. Was it on? Yeah, it was on Saturday, and then this coming Sunday is Survivor Series. We will preview that. Also, Cody Rhodes left Twitter. I think that happened today, as a matter of fact. By the way, this is the rundown. Speaking of today, for Tuesday, November 16th, 2021. I always like to date stamp it here just for historical reference, I guess. But Cody Rhodes left Twitter. We'll talk about that. And then we got rumor mill. Kenny Omega's shoulder injury, apparently that he's been having lingering for a little while. Also, a possible injury to Malachi Black. Poor WrestleMania ticket sales. That's a little bit of a surprise if you ask me. Maybe the two nights have something to do with that. We'll talk about that coming up in Rumor Mill. And also, is Walter finally moving to the U.S.? And Randy Orton, apparently he loves camels, and he didn't get to ride one in Saudi Arabia. So we'll talk about all of that and everything else coming up here on the Amp Wrestling Podcast, episode number 119 for Tuesday, November 16th, 2021.
Find us on your favorite social media platform. We are there, Facebook. We're still on Twitter, Cody, you little bitch. And we're on YouTube and Twitch as well. To search Amp Wrestling Podcast.
All right, well, speaking of Cody Rhodes, let's talk about AEW, and that was Full Gear that happened this past Saturday night. And boy, it was I tell you what, it was a pretty good show. Was it better than All Out? No, it wasn't better than All Out. I mean, to be honest, I know AEW is probably capable of it, but man, it's going to take a hell of a show for them to top AEW All Out, especially the end there. But Full Gear was a really good show. Let's go through the matches here. The pre-show, actually, I didn't get a chance to watch the pre-show, but Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa defeated Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose. So I think I did catch like the tail end of it. So I didn't see the whole match, but I did see Hikaru Shida get the victory with Thunder Rosa. Also, Serena Deeb was at ringside, or not at ringside. She was in the front row of the audience watching. So I know they've been kind of building a Serena Deeb, Hikaru Shida kind of feud happening as of late. But and some of these women I think are also in the TBS, or maybe all these women are still in the TBS championship tournament for the women to crown the inaugural TBS Women's Champion. So kind of gave you a little bit of preview there. But that was on the pre-show.
Why have they gone cold on Thunder Rosa? Like, I don't get it. Like, the chick is a badass.
Well, I think, I really don't know. I think they want to save her because obviously she beat Dr. Britt Baker in that big hardcore, lights out match they had earlier this year. And despite the fact that Thunder Rosa won that match, it was Britt Baker who kind of started to gain traction with the fans. And as far as I know, as far as I can remember off the top of my head, I may be wrong, but Thunder Rosa never got, she the last time these two women wrestled, Thunder Rosa won. So therefore, in my opinion, now that Dr. Britt Baker is the AEW Women's World Champion, I think Thunder Rosa obviously deserves a shot at that at some point in the very near future, and they could be building towards that here, sooner than later. But
I hope so.
Yeah. So I don't know why they've gone cold on Thunder Rosa. I mean, I think they've been, and I don't know, she kind of went away for a little bit. Maybe she was hurt or something, or maybe they just kind of gave her a little time off. I mean, they did the same thing with Hangman Adam Page. He kind of went away, came back, found out he just took some time off. He had a kid, whatever. And, Thunder Rosa. And there's so many people now, like that locker room is so crowded in AEW that, somebody like Thunder Rosa might have said, hey, Tony, let me, give me a month off and I'll be back. All right, fine. And, he probably granted that wish. So who knows? But she's back now, and I expect, and it'll be interesting to see tomorrow night on Dynamite. Obviously now, we'll talk about the AEW Women's World Championship match, but obviously they'll be moving in the direction of some new feuds here, in certain storylines, obviously. But we'll see if they get Thunder Rosa involved with Dr. Britt Baker, and I think that certainly would not be a bad idea. You got nothing on that?
Oh, no, I agree with it. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking like, a three-way with giggity.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
a three-way with Baker, Thunder Rosa, and Serena Deeb. That would be a hell of a match.
Yeah, I'd definitely watch that three-way. That'd be a great three-way to watch. But yeah, it'd be a great match too. But yeah, I think Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb. I'm sorry, Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb. They've been kind of building something with them two. So I think they might go off and do their own thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Thunder Rosa and Dr. Britt Baker, I think that's one. For all we know, they may wait until their next big pay-per-view is Revolution coming up, which seems like forever, to go until we get to that point, which will be in late February or early March. But that'd be a good time to really have that match because I think a lot of folks, and you have the story that tells itself with that particular match. So we'll see what happens. But let's go now to the main card. The first match of the card, we opened up with MJF and Darby Allen. And let me tell you, I was saying this to myself before the match was even over. These two guys put on a 5-star match, in my opinion. We have Unc Dave's, star rating system, which, you could take it with a grain of salt because, in my opinion, he's a little biased. But I'm telling you, those two guys, I don't know if you got a chance to see the match, David, but these two dudes, put on a fantastic wrestling match. The build to this match was obviously MJF talked about the 4 pillars of AEW: MJF, Darby Allen, Sammy Guevara, and who was the other one he talked about? Jungle Boy. And MJF talked about I'm gonna out wrestle you and this and that. I tell you what, hats off to those two dudes. I'd go back and watch that match again. That may have been, in my opinion, the best singles match in AEW this year. I was blown away by it. They kind of had like a luchador style wrestling match for a little while, and they just told a great story. It was a fantastic match. The ending was a little, I don't know. I feel like I wish MJF would have won clean. MJF obviously pulled out his dynamite diamond ring, hit Darby Allen with it, ultimately got the win from it, and the right guy won. I wish it would have been a little cleaner, but, it's MJF. He's the best heel in professional wrestling today. He put on a fantastic match for, 21 minutes and then had to cheat to kind of win, but, that's okay because it's MJF. And it was a fantastic match. I would not oppose to seeing these two guys have a rematch anywhere down the line because it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm such a cheapskate. I can't bring myself to pay $50 for a pay-per-view. And then, YouTube's algorithm is getting so great at shutting down all these people who post it afterwards. It's like it doesn't last very long. And then, even the ones where they cut out 10 seconds every now and again, and so annoying, on those videos where a 2-hour pay-per-view is now an hour and 10 minutes. Even those start getting shut down. But I heard that Tony Khan's thinking probably about doing an AEW network, and hopefully they do their pay-per-views just like WWE. It's just $10 a month and you get all the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I would absolutely love that because the WWE network was fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed. I missed the WWE network. Now we got Peacock or P-shit or P-trash, whatever you want to call it. It's terrible. Let's see. Marcus put in the chat. I think you saw this already. I'm just seeing it now. I volunteer as tribute to be the ref in that 3-way that we were talking about. I think between Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, and Serena Deeb. Yeah, who wouldn't? I agree with that.
I think you might have to Rochambeau people for that, dude. Hopefully you're good at paper, rock, scissors.
You're right. But yeah, back to this MJF Darby Allen match. Or you were talking about a possible network.
Yeah.
It would be great. I missed the WWE network. I think there is something in the works for that. It might not be exactly like the WWE network, but yes, definitely something to go back and watch old Dynamites, old pay-per-views, things of that nature and whatnot, and a place to host your live pay-per-views as well. So I would be all for that. But yeah, MJF and Darby Allen, yeah, I would give, if I would rate matches on a 1 to 5 star basis, that one was a 5. That one was, I was, I knew MJF could go, I knew Darby Allen can go, but I think they showed me something Saturday night, and I was like, wow, these dudes are for real. These two dudes can go. So, I was already big fans of both guys. I'm even bigger fans of both of them now because they had me hooked from bell to bell, and it was absolutely amazing. The next match was the AEW World Tag Team Championship. It was the Lucha Brothers. They defeated FTR. Of course, FTR took the AAA World Tag Team titles from them. I don't know. It was about a month or two ago, maybe, or it was not too long ago, but it was a few weeks ago or something like that. Well, apparently in this match, I did read. I think it was Dax, or I don't know if it was Dax or Cash. One of them apparently got legitimately maybe knocked out or something, or they got hurt maybe or something during the match, and so what happened was obviously in a regular tag match you have your legal men, and one of FTR, I don't even remember which one it was, but one of them were legal, and the illegal guy grabbed one of those green luchador masks that they used whenever they did beat the Lucha Brothers for the AAA Tag Team titles and put it on and continued to wrestle the match and finished it as if he were the legal man, although he wasn't, and the announcers kept mentioning how he wasn't the legal man, and he got pinned, and Lucha Brothers ended up winning the match. So, and I guess the referee played it off as it well, he's wearing a mask. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's legal or not. Which say what you want about that. I'm assuming it's the referee's job to know who's legal and who's not, but. The Lucha Brothers won the match, and apparently FTR was supposed to argue about, hey, the illegal man got pinned or whatever, but they didn't because one of FTR apparently got hurt. So I think they were more concerned about that. They didn't even try to, maybe restart the match or whatever the case may be. So I don't know, if that was the original plan. The Lucha Brothers was supposed to win, or if FTR was supposed to win, or whatever the case may be. But the Lucha Brothers did win. We may see a rematch here at some point with those guys. But also I heard that Rey Fenix apparently got a little heat because he didn't check. Apparently, it's common courtesy after the match. If someone gets hurt, you go in. If you were wrestling them, you go and you check on them. Apparently, Rey Fenix did not do that. And now I've read that he's got a little bit of heat, maybe with some of the boys backstage, because he didn't go check on, like I said, I don't remember if it was Dax or Cash, but whichever one got hurt during the match, apparently Ray didn't go check on him after the fact.
Ray Phoenix said, I got an appointment with a hoe, bro.
Maybe so, Ray Phoenix. But the Lucha Brothers... yeah, go ahead.
He's like, I'm a champion. I'm trying to live life like Ric Flair, dude.
Yeah, well, so FTRs are champions too. So, boy, I tell you what, it seems like FTR,
Yeah, but they're AAA champions. Nobody gives a crap about that.
I guess not. I don't know. But, boy, it seems like FTR, though, in those big matches, they're always getting hurt somehow. They had that gash in the arm. I think it was Cash that got that.
Yeah.
The Cash got the gash in his arm. And then I think it might have been Dax that got hurt. Or I don't even remember. I read the article like an hour ago and I already forgot, the exact details. But it was something along those lines. But Lucha Brothers retain. They'll continue to be AEW World Tag Team Champs for now. The next match was the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Final. Bryan Danielson defeated Miro. This was a pretty good match. Bryan Danielson finally got Miro. He got him in a submission. It was a technical submission, and basically, I think he got him to tap out. Actually, I think you couldn't really tell on live TV, but I think when they showed the replay, Miro kind of did it very quickly, and to where you almost really couldn't tell that he tapped out. But I think he did. So Bryan Danielson ultimately got Miro to tap out. So that was a really good match there. Bryan Danielson now the number one contender for the AEW World Championship, and we'll talk about the World Championship match coming up here in just a little bit. Any thoughts on Bryan Danielson and Miro?
No, I think that's how it should have worked out. I'm kind of sad that it didn't unfold as how we talked about it last week, but, we'll talk about that here in a few minutes.
The next match was the Falls Count Anywhere match. It was a 6-man tag match. It was Christian Cage and Jurassic Express taking on the Super Click, Adam Cole, Bebe, and the Young Bucks. And Christian Cage and Jurassic Express did get the victory there. This was actually the second longest match of the night. And of course, any match with the Young Bucks, they got to take up all the time in the world. So, but Christian Cage and Jurassic Express ultimately got the victory. I think it came at the end. It was Jungle Boy who did a concerto to one of the Young Bucks. I think it was Matt, but he ultimately did a concerto on the rampway, and they got the victory. So I don't know where they're going to go with this feud, but Christian Cage and Jurassic Express, and Jungle Boy got the pinfall victory. So a nice win for Jungle Boy to get the pinfall victory there. Any thoughts on that match?
I'm just wondering what they're going to do with Christian now that, he had that run in Impact and the Impact deal is over with. I don't know, what they're going to do with him because he's not going to win the AEW Heavyweight Championship.
No, I don't expect that. Although, hats off to Christian Cage. He's had a hell of a pay-per-view run in 2 different major promotions this year. So, kudos to him. Of course, he was in the Royal Rumble match earlier this year in WWE, and then he came over at Revolution, and then he had a match at Double or Nothing. I don't remember. And then, of course, he wrestled Kenny for the AEW World Title at All Out, and then he had this match here. And then he wrestled at Impact pay-per-views as well. So Christian Cage, hats off to him for just coming out and really just putting in that work this year in pay-per-views. The next match was a tag team match. We actually didn't talk about this match last week because it was added after we recorded the show. Cody Rhodes and Pac took on Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. Cody Rhodes and Pac got the victory. Boy, I tell you what, that crowd, man, they were booing Cody Rhodes, man. They, I think that was as loud as I've heard the boo birds for Cody Rhodes, in my opinion. And Pac ultimately, I think, got the pinfall victory. But boy, they were giving it to Cody Rhodes in that match, and I don't know. And we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes leaving Twitter here, but I don't know what's. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with. I mean, obviously, we talk about how Cody puts himself over and things like that. I find as of late he's trying not to do that, and kudos to him for not doing that.
It's too late.
Yeah, I guess it's too late, and he came out a handful of weeks ago and basically was like, I'm not turning. He's like, and he actually had me at this point. He came in, obviously he's one of the EVPs of the company, and he said, I could have used my pull and been in the world title picture. And give him credit. He's never been I don't think he's ever been in the world title picture. I think he did lose, or did he wrestle when Chris Jericho was the world champion? I think he wrestled Chris Jericho for the world championship, and if he lost, he would never wrestle for the world championship in AEW, or maybe as long as Jericho was the champion. I don't remember, but granted, he's never put himself since then. He's never put himself in the world title picture. Granted, he had a couple of runs with the TNT belt, but he never put himself in the world title picture. So I guess I can give him that. But the fact that he doesn't want to turn heel, it's kind of, I don't know, like it's almost kind of stubborn. Like if you turn heel, the fans might actually start cheering you, and obviously that's what you want. You want the fans to cheer you. You don't necessarily have to be an MJF kind of heel. You could be more like an Adam Cole Bay type of heel where the fans still cheer him, or at least they do his chant, with Adam Cole Bay and the boom in his entrance. But, turn heel and the fans will probably start cheering you, and that's what you got to do. I'm not saying you ain't got to come out like MJF and call everybody fat and call, that girl Melanie, call her Methany or something like that.
Yes.
You don't have to come out and do things like that. I mean, you can be a heel. You could be like a mild heel, I guess you can say, and maybe like turn on Arn or something like that. That's the thing. They cheered Arn. Arn came out. They cheered him. I think ever since the whole Glock thing with Arn, the fans are really enjoying Arn. So, but Cody Rhodes and Pac got the victory over Malachi Black and Andrade El Idolo. This, in my opinion, you could have done this should have been like a fatal 4-way. Like this could have been a great fatal 4-way match. It was, they kept talking about how weird it was, the unusual tag team of Cody Rhodes and Pac, which yes, I agree. But it was a good match. Would love to see these four
just
guys.
like the old saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
True, yeah. And Malachi Black and Andrade Idolo, they've been really working well together. So obviously, you know what else is funny about this match? 3 of these 4 guys are former NXT champions, by the way. So I thought that was kind of a fun fact about that match. But anything else you got on that match?
Oh, Marcus was talking about the stipulation for Cody in the chat.
Okay, let's see. This is what Marcus said. He can never challenge for it. He can be challenged for it, but as for him challenging the champ, he can as long as he is in AEW. That's what the stipulation was. Well, most of you have seen it by now, but Hangman Adam Page is like the new AEW World Champion, and we'll talk about that match coming up in a little bit. So let's say Cody Rhodes, just comes out and attacks Hangman Adam Page, and just pisses him off to the point where Hangman Page is like, you know what, Cody, I'm going to fight you, and I'll put the AEW World Title on the line, and that's basically the only way Cody Rhodes can fight for the AEW World Title. So that's just a little example right there. I don't think that's how it's going to get booked, but that's just an example.
But you know what as well? I mean, watching some of his matches lately, he's not acting very babyface either. Like a lot of times he's doing a lot of heelish stuff. And what do heels do? They lie. They cheat. So him coming out and saying that he would never turn heel, I mean, that's what a heel would say if he's trying to, keep it in the dark, so to speak, that he's turning heel.
Yeah, but I think when he came out and did a little promo about I'm never going to turn heel, I think that was like a shoot. He was like, look, I know you guys been booing me and with this and that, but I'm being real with you guys right now. Because obviously Cody does a lot of things outside the ring. He's really a great ambassador for the company. He does all this charity work and things of that nature. Even before the match, he went and there was a disabled, young man in the front row, and Cody gave the young man his weight belt that he normally would wear during a match. So it's little things like that. Obviously, I think it's why Cody doesn't want to have to become a heel, because I think he's obviously he's one of the EVPs of the company. He's an ambassador for the company. He does things like that. I don't know if he necessarily does Make-A-Wish things, but he does things of that nature. And I guess he feels like if he becomes a heel, he can't do things like that. And I think that's what, at the end of the day, he really wants to do, is do things like that. So that way, he just wants to be portrayed as a face, and maybe he wants to get all the crowd cheer and whatnot, which he's not getting right now. But I think that's partially why he doesn't want to turn.
I don't think he can do that public stuff right now anyway, because even if he does it, all the fans are going to look at him and go, ugh, look at Cody, pompous prick, trying to do this to look good. He doesn't care about these little kids, blah, 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 because everybody just hates him so much. It's so vile right now. And the fact that, they're doing that stuff on TV, they might be setting that stuff up to try to get the crowd on his side, which isn't working. Yeah. And shout out to Ryan K. Bowman from Sportskeeda Wrestling. He just wrote a story about this, and it was really good on their website. And, he just said that whether it's right or wrong, him and Brandi just come off as pricks.
Yeah, it's like they
they're all high and mighty.
Yeah, I mean,
they're better than you. Yeah, they're better than me.
Yeah, because I feel like because obviously Cody was one of the I guess you can call him one of the founding fathers of AEW, and he feels that he played such a big part in creating this company that look what I've created. This is my creation, partially, granted, but. I don't know. I guess he feels, maybe at times he feels entitled to the cheers and stuff because of the fact that he's part of the reason why we have this great company and all this great talent and this great wrestling now and things of that nature. So, and I think Brandi, she's right there, obviously. And the thing about Brandi, I watched Roads to the Top, which by the way is a pretty good show, I will admit. But obviously she had, her kid and she wants to come back and get in the ring, and I'm thinking but you're not that good in the ring. If you want to come back and be Cody's manager or something like that, then yeah, that would be, that would be great. But
yeah, I like watching her in her gear though. I'm all for it.
Yeah, but she's just a terrible wrestler in my opinion. She's never impressed me one day, and she's. In the show, she said how she was hell bent on getting back in the ring, and I'm just thinking, please don't. That's not. Please don't. There's so many other women there that are so much better than you that need to get the exposure, and you're going to come in and try to take a slot from someone else that probably deserves it a little bit more than you. So, Marcus said in the chat, It's the same, in my opinion, with Cena. Cena said he would never turn heel, but he still does heelish things. Well, I feel like Cena can do whatever he wants. Like, Cena's got that, that power in WWE. Like, he shows up and they just say, go do whatever you want, and he'll do whatever he wants, And I think Cena, by now, he knows how to play to the crowd, and I think he can read a situation very well and know when he can, when to do those type of heelish things and get away with it. So, but, John Cena's on another level. All right, let's go to the next match. It was the AEW Women's World Championship match. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Ty Conti. I didn't pay too much attention to this match.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess at that point I was kind of like, I don't know. I needed a mental break, I guess. I watched a little bit of it. I kind of paid attention to it, but I might have.
You didn't watch it just for Ty Conti's buns.
I paid attention. Don't get me wrong. Anytime any of these women are in the ring, you know me. I'm taking a peek. I'm checking it out. So, from what I did see, though, pretty good match. I'm trying to remember exactly how Dr. Britt Baker won. I don't remember if Rebel or Jamie Hayter kind of got involved or whatnot. But Dr. Britt Baker,
I don't see how Ty Conti got a title shot. What has she done?
I think she's just been winning matches, and she's just kind of moved up to the top of the AEW women's, rankings. She moved up to
some of this stuff just comes out of left field.
But Dr. Britt Baker, DMD won, to no surprise to anyone. I don't think anyone was expecting her to lose that match. I don't know who she's going to be losing to next, but I
could see her losing to Serena Deeb.
I could see her losing to Thunder Rosa, maybe not necessarily Serena Deeb. And then the other one I can think of is maybe Jade Cargill a little further down the line. Or unless they give the TBS title to Jade Cargill, then obviously she's going to stay out of the world title picture. But
have you seen Serena Deeb I know you've seen Serena Deeb matches.
Well, yeah, she's great. I just don't.
That chick is tough as nails.
Oh, I know, and she's great. But I just don't think that they have that in the plan for her right now. Like I said, it seems like her and Hikaru Shida are about to are continuing this ongoing feud they got. So, and like I said, like I was mentioning earlier about Thunder Rosa beat Dr. Britt Baker back in, I think it was earlier this year when they had that Lights Out match. So I think a lot of folks are kind of anticipating that rematch at some point, and now that rematch could be or should be, at least in my opinion, for the AEW Women's World Championship. And I think Thunder Rosa still, she's in the top 5 of those rankings for the women's division too. So she's she might be next in line for that title shot. Next match was CM Punk and Eddie Kingston. This was actually the shortest match of the night. It ended at exactly 11 minutes. Because Kingston can't work. Well, this was kind of, like the brawl that you would have expected. Punk got busted wide open. Punk ultimately won the match. I did not expect him. But I tell you what, the fans kind of started booing Punk a little bit. I think there was a lot of fans there. I think it might have been split, really. There was like a 50%, fan base for Eddie Kingston there, and then they had about 50% for CM Punk. So it was a mixed reaction there. But CM Punk won. It was a pretty good little match. He was busted wide open. But I think the right man won. I think ultimately they're building CM Punk to have obviously make a title run at some point somewhere down the line, and he's starting to build wins here, getting more and more quality wins, and now he's got one against Eddie Kingston. So not much to say on this match. The build to this match was great. The match was pretty good, and the right man won. So you got anything on this match?
Do you feel like the fans are kind of losing their fervor for CM Punk? Because, obviously the first week he came back, people crying, you were the Elvis of wrestling, you're back. But it almost seems like people really don't care about CM Punk anymore.
I can kind of sense that in a way. I think fans do kind of care because now here's the thing. CM Punk is we see him every single week. So it's not one of those things like he was gone for 7 years and everybody was just dying for him to come back to wrestling, and he finally did. And when he did, it was one of the greatest moments in the history of wrestling when he returned. And now we see him every single week, and we've already seen him wrestle. I think that was his 6th match, and since he's been back now for less than 3 months. So he's had 6 matches, 2 matches a month. I mean, like we've gotten a good dose of CM Punk. If he were to go step away for a little bit and then come back, I think fans would be a little more excited to see him come back. But I think the fact that we've seen him so much it's becoming normal now that CM Punk is wrestling again, So I think fans are still excited, but obviously, when the guy comes back after 7 years and you have the ovation that he got when he came back and the excitement when he came back, and there's been so many other things that have happened, obviously. Adam Cole, Bay, Bryan Danielson, they're in AEW now, so you've had some more surprises, and then another surprise actually. Jay Lethal is now in AEW, so like another big name coming to AEW. Hangman came back after he was gone for a little bit, so like a lot of surprises have happened since then that I think have kind of sort of taken, I guess, the spotlight off of CM Punk a little bit. And I don't think he's too upset about it, but definitely I think, the novelty, the newness of CM Punk being back in wrestling has worn off a little bit. I don't see the fans necessarily turning on CM Punk at any point. I mean, CM Punk could probably turn heel whenever he wants, but yeah, I could see a scenario where the fans definitely are not as excited that CM, to see CM Punk every week now, because it's like I said, he's there every week, and it's, and I don't want to say we're taking it for granted, but we might be seeing him every week. But yeah, I think that's the reason why the fans are just don't seem as excited to see him, is because we're seeing him every week, and it's one of those things now. He's expected to be there every single week. We're expected to see him, so it's not as much of a surprise anymore.
Well, you brought up Jay Lethal. If Tony Khan does not utilize the Black Machismo gimmick, that is a totally wasted signing.
Well, I know. I think tomorrow night on Dynamite, we're going to get Jay Lethal versus Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. So Jay Lethal, who has obviously won championships all over the place, anywhere he's gone, he's right out the gate, he's going to be fighting for a championship here in AEW.
And his new intro music is like a remix of like the Macho Man music. So hopefully we will see Black Machismo.
I hope we get more, get another, another Ric Flair impression or whatever. That's one of the all-time great sets. It's probably the greatest segment in the history of Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
All right, let's move on now to the next match. It was the Inner Circle taking on Men of the Year and American Top Team. Once again, I started watching this and I kind of, stopped paying attention after a while. This match went almost 20 minutes. The Inner Circle won. They defeated the Men of the Year and American Top Team by pinfall. Dan Lambert did get involved a little bit here and there. I don't remember anything spectacular happening in this particular match, but the Inner Circle won, and I was hoping maybe Men of the Year would get the victory here to kind of elevate them, but it did not happen. So I do know one thing. Junior Dos Santos was kind of impressive from what I do remember seeing. He was not bad in the ring. I give him his props. I think that was I don't know if that was his professional wrestling debut or no. I don't know if he's ever wrestled before or not. If he has, it hasn't been a lot. But I was kind of impressed by Junior Dos Santos and his ability in the ring. So props to him. I would be upset if maybe we don't see any more Dan Lambert because he's so great on the mic at drawing heat. He'd be a great manager for a heel in wrestling. But I don't know. I think we're done seeing American Top Team. I could be wrong, but I just don't. I feel like that feud's over with now. Obviously, Men of the Year will still be around, but no more American Top Team. And maybe we'll see him in the future. Who knows? But Inner Circle get the victory there. You got anything on that?
Well, Dan Lambert can just stay with the Men of the Year.
You're right. He could. I would not be upset at that. Also, another thing, too, that was pretty cool about this match, it was a Minneapolis street fight, and they had a bunch of weapons that were on the side of the ring. Apparently, all the weapons that they had on the side of the ring were all things that were invented in the state of Minnesota. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like like they used a toaster. Like I never knew the toaster got invented in Minnesota. So that was a pretty cool little tidbit about that match. Is that all the weapons that were used And they had other weapons that were obviously used as well, but like all the weapons that they kind of set at ringside were all weapons that were or things that were invented in the state of Minnesota. So that was pretty cool. And then, of course, the main event of the night, Hangman Adam Page defeating Kenny Omega by pinfall. This was a fantastic match. I think we all had a feeling that Hangman Adam Page was going to win, but we weren't sure because it would be very easy for Tony Khan to obviously keep the belt on Kenny Omega. I mean, he's one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world in the ring, and it's nothing to keep the belt on him. And we'll talk about a possible injury to him coming up here in Rumor Mill. But Hangman Adam Page gets the victory. The Young Bucks came down to the ring, and it seemed like the Young Bucks, they came down to the ring. It seemed like they were going to maybe get involved, but they did not get involved. And, Hangman, as he was getting ready to hit the buckshot lariat on Omega, he looked down at it was Matt Jackson, and Matt Jackson looked up at him and, like, just nodded at him like, yes, do it. So that was an interesting little twist there. But Hangman Adam Page hits Kenny Omega with the buckshot lariat, pins him 1-2-3, the new AEW World Champion. The Dark Order came out to celebrate with him and everything. It was a great moment for Hangman Adam Page. Very excited to see him run with the belt now and see what kind of feud they come up with. Obviously, Bryan Danielson now. And that's the thing, too. Since Bryan Danielson won the AEW World Championship Eliminator Tournament Final, I was thinking, well, it feels like Kenny could win this, and then we're going to get that big match for the title, Danielson and Omega. But now we'll probably get Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson somewhere soon, sooner than later, I would think.
Yeah, I saw somebody write on one of the wrestling groups about how when Kenny comes back from injury, how it'd be great if he started feuding with the Super Click. And I was wondering why that would even happen, but now it makes sense with you saying that one of the Jacksons nodded his head and said, yeah, go ahead, buckshot lariat this dude.
Marcus, referring to the Minneapolis street fight, said, I remember two things. Sammy off the ladder. Yes, Sammy did have like his Jeff Hardy moment, a swanton bomb off the ladder into, I don't even remember who he went into through the table. And he also had a sweet-ass nip-up, according to Marcus. And then, the Prince symbol. Jericho pulled out the Prince symbol. I think Prince is from Minneapolis or from Minnesota. So that was a cool little moment. He had the Prince symbol, and I think he hit Dan Lambert with it or hit somebody with it. So there was those two cool moments in the Minneapolis street fight. But overall, the show was a good show. It wasn't as good as All Out, but that's. Yeah, good luck having another show like All Out anytime soon. My God, that was an amazing show. But yeah, any other thoughts on Full Gear, David?
Nah.
All right, well, with that being said, we're going to go from one pay-per-view to another this coming weekend. This coming Sunday, as a matter of fact, it is Survivor Series, one of the big four pay-per-views from WWE. I'll quickly go over the matches here. It's all champions versus champions matches or Survivor Series elimination matches. Right now there's 6 matches. First, the 5-on-5 Men's Survivor Series elimination match. This is Team Raw, by the way. Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and Austin Theory. That's random as fuck, but Dominic Mysterio was originally supposed to be the 5th man, and then I think Austin Theory wrestled him, and if Austin Theory won, then Austin Theory got into the match. So now Austin Theory, just the 5th wheel here, in my opinion. I mean, you got Rollins, Balor, Owens, and Lashley, and then Austin Theory. So, whatever.
Well, apparently the people in the back think this Theory kid's the future.
I guess, but it's just...
That's what I've been hearing.
It's so random, and I guess Dominic Mysterio was a little random too, but... I don't know, Austin Theory, I feel like, of course, granted, I haven't been watching much WWE, but I feel like he just kind of came out of nowhere and joined into this team. And then they're going to be taking on Team SmackDown. That's Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King Xavier Woods, Happy Corbin, and it says to be announced. So I guess they don't have a 5th man yet for Team SmackDown. And then on the women's end of it, you got Team Raw, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina taking on Team SmackDown, which is Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, well, they just says Shotzi, but Shotzi Blackheart, Natalya, and then they still have a 5th member that they're going to determine as well. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair, Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown Women's Champion. You get Big E versus Roman Reigns. I think that's going to be a hell of a match there. WWE Champion versus Universal Champion. RK Bro taking on the Usos. I think that's going to be another fantastic match as well. And then you have Damian Priest taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, the United States Champion versus the Intercontinental Champion. You know, there's a good and a bad thing about Survivor Series, in my opinion. The good thing is you get all the champions going up against one another, and you get the two brands going up against one another. I always enjoy that, but no titles are on the line or anything, so that's kind of, I don't know, that kind of leaves a little lackluster taste in my mouth at times. But I think it's going to be a pretty good show. I guess we'll find out. Obviously, NXT not involved this year. That one year they involved NXT and actually had them win. It was 2 years ago, I believe. That was a great show. But yeah, that's this Sunday. I don't have much thoughts on it, other than, I think Big E and Roman Reigns will be good. I think RK Bro and the Usos will put on a pretty good match. The Survivor Series elimination matches are always fun, in my opinion. I think they're going to be a fun time. So I think it'll be a fun pay-per-view. I don't think it'll be anything mind-blowing and whatnot. But, yeah, I guess we'll find out on Sunday. You got any thoughts on Survivor Series, David?
No, I could care less about WWE.
Well, there you go. All right, let's move on now to Cody Rhodes. We've already talked about him a little bit. Apparently, he left Twitter earlier today. 1 week, this is from WrestlingInc.com. 1 week after vowing to leave Twitter, Cody Rhodes has kept his word. The AEW star and former TNT champion quietly deactivated his Twitter account on Monday, so he actually did it yesterday. Rhodes has not commented yet on the deactivation. In an appearance on Busted Open Radio last Friday, Cody Rhodes announced to the host, Dave LaGreca, and AEW coworker Mark Henry that he would soon be leaving the social media platform. Rhodes cited the amount of sniping and negativity on Twitter as the reason, telling LaGreca and Henry he'd be moving everything to Instagram. So, I don't know what to think about that. Also, Marcus said, I haven't been watching either. I thought Ray was going to be in the match. I don't know. I don't know what Ray's doing. Ray's not even on the card, it would appear. But yeah, Cody Rhodes, I don't know. I mean, I know there is a lot of negativity on Twitter. Don't get me wrong. I'm on Twitter like more than anything else. And granted, there's a lot of negativity and stuff. And I guess, I don't know, a guy like Cody Rhodes who always tries to do good and bring positivity, I guess. I don't know. I guess he got tired of seeing it. And there's sometimes I get tired of seeing shit too. But I just hit that good old block button, and that solves that problem real quick. I don't even, and I'm not the guy. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to go and complain. Like if I see something, I'm like, well, I don't want to see that on here. Like, and which is very rare. It's very rare that and then sometimes there are people that might annoy me on Twitter, and I'm just like, you know what, screw you. I'm just going to block you. I'm not even going to argue with you or complain or whatever. Just just block and get it done. So. I don't know. I mean, I didn't even notice he left Twitter until someone said something. So I guess that tells you all you need to know about what I think about it. But you got any thoughts on this, David?
Yeah, I think he's a little bitch like Nick Aldis. Surprised Nick Aldis hasn't got off of Twitter. But he does. He definitely knows how to utilize the block button, though.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, for all we know, he might not be on Twitter because he blocked us, or he blocked the Amp Wrestling podcast. I think. I don't think he blocked. Well, you don't have a Twitter account, but
no,
I have a personal Twitter account. I don't think he's blocked my personal Twitter account, although I don't even know if I follow him, to be honest. But yeah, I ain't got nothing else on Cody Rhodes leaving Twitter.
I mean, I don't think. Why does he not think the negativity is not going to follow him over to Instagram? I mean, you're a celebrity. You're still going to have trolls. They're still going to come over wherever you are, dude.
Well, if he posts pictures of Brandi with her, her tits out, that might that might spring a little positivity, maybe a little cleavage.
Or that booty.
Yeah, that too. That'll work. But yeah. I got nothing else on that, but
you know what? Cody's a moron, dude. Like now he looks like a little bitch tucking his tail between his legs, and he doesn't have any intestinal fortitude, or whatever you want to say. Like, dude, you're an EVP of a company. Hire an intern to run your social media for you. Just email them what you want to put on social media and don't go check it.
I guess. I mean, I feel like, I feel like Cody's the kind of guy he'd rather have control of that directly versus having someone else do it, I suppose. But I don't know. I think, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with him and the relationship with the fans, and that's it's just very weird, in my opinion. You don't know what's going to happen. But yeah. All right, man. I think it's time for Rumor Mill now.
Yeah, before we start talking about Kenny Omega, there's a great video. It's very entertaining. It's Kenny Omega getting adjusted by a chiropractor named Bo Hightower. He's like a real big chiropractor on YouTube.
Yeah.
And if anybody hasn't seen that video, you got to go check it out. But Kenny Omega was talking about some of his injuries that I think kind of cut his AEW title reign short, because, I mean, why wouldn't they have had a Kenny Omega Bryan Danielson match? And he was talking to this Bo Hightower guy about how he's got really bad vertigo in the ring now. And he said, I've had to train myself to do a match while everything's spinning.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's not good.
Well, I did read that Kenny apparently has been having a nagging shoulder injury. And I mean, it's to the point where, like, he can't even lift heavy weights. So I did see some fans talking about it on Twitter, ironically enough, or it might have been Twitter, it might have been elsewhere, but they were talking about maybe they speculate that maybe the Super Click will turn on Kenny and, like, I don't know, beat him up and kind of write him off TV for a little bit. Because, I mean, obviously, if he's got that nagging shoulder injury to where he can't even lift weights, or heavy weights at least, then I think he needs a little time off. I mean, obviously, he's carried the belt now for almost a year. He's been helping, he's been with the company now for almost 3 years. Oh, man, now I got the damn hiccups. He's been really carrying the load. I mean, obviously, him and Hangman were the tag team titles for a little while and whatnot. So, let him go get healthy and whatnot, and come back better than ever. I think, if the if the Super Click turns on him, God damn it, if the Super Click turns on him and, like, beats him up, obviously, and then he goes away for a little while, when he shows back up, he's gonna come back to a big pop, in my opinion. So let him write him off somehow, however you want. If the Super Click turns on him, or however else you want to write him off. Dude, these fucking hiccups.
Or you need a glass of water or something?
Well, I got a bottle of water, but I'm not giving myself a break to talk. So go ahead.
Why don't you go ahead and take a sip?
Yeah, go ahead and give us your thoughts on Kenny Omega and the shoulder injury and all that.
Dave Meltzer, Uncle Dave, said after that match he could barely even, like, lift his shoulders up or his arms up. And he was having a lot of trouble when that guy was adjusting him too. I don't know how long ago that was, but he was talking about Full Gear when he was getting adjusted. So it may have been like a month or so away from the pay-per-view whenever he was getting adjusted. But I remember Ryan K. Bowman talking about it on Facebook, and somebody had posted that, he's been having shoulder issues since New Japan for almost, golly, what would that be, like 4 years now?
Well, yeah, his last appearance in New Japan, I think, was in January of 19. At Wrestle Kingdom, I think, was his last match back in January 4th of 2019 when he lost the IWGP World Title. And since then, he hasn't been back in New Japan. So, yeah, I mean, it's been at least, like I said, almost 3 years since that. So that's a long time to have that nagging shoulder injury. But obviously, I mean, it couldn't have been, like, that serious, because if it was that serious, it would have been seen about, long before, obviously.
Well, I imagine it just got worse and worse and worse over time.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe it's at a breaking point now where it's like, all right, we got to get this seen about. So if it's something he's got to get seen about, hey, get it seen about. I think we can do without, and no offense to Kenny Omega, but I think we can do without Kenny Omega for a few months or whatever. I mean, the roster's loaded at this point. So write him off, let him go get healed, get back to 100%, and when he comes back, he's going to come back to a big old pop, and you can. The sky's the limit with him.
PW Insider notes that Malachi Black missed the big event convention due to an injury. Doesn't specify what kind of injury.
What did he miss, did you say?
A convention.
When was the convention?
I don't know.
I mean, he wrestled Saturday, so.
Big event.
He must not be too injured.
Home of one of the largest pro wrestling conventions in the world.
Well, he wrestled Saturday, so I don't know. I mean, he didn't look hurt to me. But then again, I wasn't, paying attention to see if people looked hurt. So, yeah, I mean, if he's hurt, what's another one? Let him give him a break. And there's so many people in AEW now. Like, if someone's hurt or someone wants time off, it probably ain't nothing. Like, all right, yeah, we'll take some time off or go heal up. We got plenty of guys that can fill the role for the time being. So if Malachi Black's hurt, he's a big player in AEW now. Let him heal up, get better, come back 100%.
Per the Wrestling Observer, while there's no word on WrestleMania ticket sales that went on sale this past Friday, it was, quote, far from an instant sellout.
So the tickets are on sale now, or?
I don't know. It says per the Observer. I have no idea what's going on in WWE. There's no word on WrestleMania tickets that went on sale this past Friday. It was far from an instant sellout.
Oh, so they did go on sale this past Friday, but they're not sold out yet. Normally, WrestleMania, sells out. I mean, in the past, they've sold out, 5 minutes? And now it's sad because, WrestleMania obviously is the biggest event in all of pro wrestling. So the fact that they're not selling out, man, that kind of tells you something. And I don't know if it's the fact that they're going to 2 nights because obviously, and I don't know what the ticket prices are. I've never been to a WrestleMania. But I don't know if because, okay, hypothetically, you have one night of WrestleMania, so you buy 1 ticket. So let's say it's X amount of dollars. Hypothetically, it's it's a $500 ticket. If you got them split into 2 nights, is night 1 $250 and night 2 $250, or are they is a little more pricey? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know how WWE's doing that. So. And it's in Dallas, which is a pretty, Texas. Texas is a hotbed for pro wrestling. So, it's very interesting. I'm even debating on, trying to make that trip myself. So, because I've never been to a WrestleMania. I want to go to one. I should have gone to one of the 2 that were in New Orleans, but it just didn't happen. So, even, and obviously I could still get tickets to the one in Dallas. So, I don't know. If WrestleMania can't sell out like it used to, that's a telling sign that something ain't right or that they're going in the wrong direction. So maybe it's it's one of the many wake up calls WWE needs.
I think Walter may have been perusing on the Plenty of Fish app and maybe found him some U.S. cooch because, according to PW Insider, Walter is currently more open to moving to the United States than he was when he first signed with WWE due to changes in his personal life.
Oh, maybe so. Maybe he found him a little, little American tang to throw around and chop in the bedroom, but
a little thought.
Yeah, a little thought. I don't know, or maybe. I don't know. It would be great because now you can use Walter maybe you can bring him on tour on the main roster. Lord knows, or in NXT, because Lord knows he's a big draw in my opinion. And if you're WWE, you need all the help you can get. So. I don't know. Maybe he moved his family here. Maybe I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, but it would definitely benefit WWE to have Walter here, and they can use him more often. Because if I was WWE, I would use him any chance I get.
Behold the power of a JJ.
Yes.
All right, and finally,
the vagina is a very powerful thing, and so are titties.
The force is strong with this one.
Yes.
Riddle told Metro that Vince McMahon wouldn't let Randy Orton ride a camel to the ring at Crown Jewel, even though Orton wanted to, but Vince McMahon didn't think that was something Randy's character would do.
Yeah, obviously Riddle, riding a camel, that makes all the sense in the world. I guess I kind of understand where Vince is coming from there because it was kind of funny when Riddle was coming down and Orton's just walking there like this fucking guy on this camel, And now it would have been funny as hell to see Randy Orton riding a camel, or it would have even been funnier, like as if like they put Orton on the camel, like, and he didn't want to, but they made him get on the camel, and he's just made it he come off as not enjoying riding the camel, but
like Orton's on the camel and Riddle's on the scooter.
Yeah. Now then again, to go against what Vince's reasoning is that, you know, if riding a camel is something Randy Orton wouldn't do, it to me, teaming up with Matt Riddle seems like something Randy Orton's character would not do, but he's doing it, and they're the tag team champs, so that's just the way I see it. So it seems like Randy Orton, you know, it would have been, I think it would have been funny, you know, because obviously Randy Orton is open to, or at least his character, let's say he's open to new things, you know, obviously teaming with Riddle, having RK Bro as their name and things like that, and stuff. So it's a missed opportunity, unfortunately. But yeah, would have loved to see Orton on a camel.
All right, that's it, man. That's a show, bro. 119 in the can.
Yes, sir. 119 done. 120 coming up next week. So thanks to Marcus for hanging out with us in the chat. Let's see here. Marcus actually, I guess, looked up Mania tickets. Cheapest Mania ticket is $50. Highest is $3,000.
That's not bad.
Hell no, that's not bad. Highest is $3,000, but I don't see if they split it or not. Okay, so he's not seeing if they split it into 2 nights. Shit. Hey, you know what? $50 for both nights. I'd do it.
I would imagine the 3,000's ringside.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, highest is $3,000, unless that's the highest available. I mean, they might, for all we know, if the tickets have gone on sale already. Ringside's already gone. I'm sure that, you know, Brock Lesnar guy, he seems to be at ringside at every fucking major wrestling event in the world. So I don't know what kind of connection he has. Yeah. But, you know, if the tickets went on sale last Friday, I would think like ringside, all like the real close seats, most of them are probably gone. And there might be a few handful here and there because, I mean, AT&T Stadium, that's a big motherfucker, but you got 101,000 people you're going to try and fit in there. So, but $50, like if you paid $50 for each night and paid $100 total for both nights, I think that'd be worth it. That's just my opinion. I would definitely do that. I might be sitting up with fucking Jesus in heaven, but watching WrestleMania, but still, just to be in the building, I think that's worth it.
All right, so the attendance record for WWE is 101,763.
Yeah, I believe that was WrestleMania 32 in AT&T Stadium.
Yeah.
So
can they pack more people in there than that, or is that full capacity?
Well, here's the thing. Like, some people will still dispute that there was actually 101,000 people at WrestleMania 32. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out, you know. But at the rate the tickets are being sold, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like at the rate tickets are selling, they'll be lucky to get 100,000 in there.
Yeah.
We'll be lucky to get 90,000.
All right. Well, that's a show. Find us on your favorite social media platform, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. We are there. Search AMP Wrestling Podcast. Also, if you want to help the show out, if you made it this far in the live show, the replay, or the podcast, man, help your boys out this holiday season by using our Amazon affiliate link, tinyurl.com/Amazon AMP AMP. No extra cost to you. Just helps your boys out in the long run. Patrick, do what you do, son.
Outro.
You've been listening to the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast with David Boston and Patrick Fry. All opinions discussed in the show are those of Average Marks and do not represent any wrestling company, organization, or individual. This has been a Lake Area Media, LLC production.